Hi everyone, good afternoon. I'll not start until I hear properly. Good afternoon. Awesome. My name is Kapil Mehrotra. Today I'm leading this panel. And we have a lovely moderators and lovely panelists in this panel. And topic is very good, and this is pertaining to today's requirement. And before I start, I like to bring attention what actually word is involved and where they are heading it. In terms of the India AI readiness, India is also investing a lot in the IIT to improve to launch first India-based AI model, wherein like Indian government have invested around 4,000 crore rupees on startups. They are building lot of model and framework in India. Not only that, Indian government has recently invested 260 crore rupees on Bharat GPT. So it is a kind of a GPT what we are using it now these days. So India is also investing it. Apart from that, whenever we are talking about like GPT, AI, so for that you need a national infrastructure available, and AI logics runs on GPU, and today if you go for V100 is the processor what GPU uses it, and the demand of that is so high. Because of that, like there is a delay on deliveries of 3 months to 4 months, which is year back it was a 3 years delay, but now Tesla has improved the production and now they are able to cater that requirements in a 3 to 4 months time. Whenever we talk about all those things, so one side we are seeing government is evolved and the lot of things are coming up and GPU demand gone up. Other side, DPD is also approaching us, wherein like lot of governance and the things are coming up, wherein lot of questions are there. Today we'll try to address with this forum because so many esteemed people are here and they are working in a different industry. So one of the question is coming up, child concern, wherein like just imagine 18-year-old child, if he's giving consent, what is going to be happened? His data will be included in AI, in DPD and other stuff and all. Other side is people are demanding it, remove the data, eraser of the data also. So all these things definitely add a lot of value because AI churns a lot of data, and other side all of a sudden you are talking about erase something is, and you have to give the consent of the data. How these things will marry together? Because DPD says all these constraints, and AI needs more data to basically churn around and give the precise results. So a lot of questions unanswered right now. Looking at these challenges, I'm moving on straight away to Sujoy. Sujoy, you are in a very regulated industry, and my question is to you is how your industry is basically coping up with the AI changes and adoption in this coming up.
Good afternoon again. My name is Sujoy Brahmachari. I am responsible for IT and cybersecurity for an organization called Rosmerta Technologies. So they are into multiple line of business, but I heads the IT and cybersecurity for the payment card manufacturing and GSM card manufacturing division. So it's when I say payment card, it's a very regulated area. Payment card means the card, credit card, debit card, which everyone carries in a wallet. So we manufacture for the domestic and international banks. And some other smart cards, scratch cards, from where you can get money out of that. So having said that, this industry can adopt technology once you are foolproof with the security, because data is the topmost priority in this industry. Any kind of data leak by whatever means, you will be blacklisted, and your certification can be brought down, and you can't manufacture any kind of payment card. So this is the background of this industry. Now coming back to AI, what kind of adoption in this industry people are doing? Yes, people, see, what is AI? AI, people are nowadays adopting or in process of doing POC to adopt, to create use cases and all those things, just to improve the performance efficiency of the organization, which can relate to the monetary growth of any organization. So here also, it's a volume game. People are doing a lot of POCs. People have implemented little use cases in their entire operation of manufacturing. And most important thing, what regulator like NPCI, RBI, they said, until the government comes up with the framework, at least you take, wherever you are implementing, take that particular area into your enterprise cybersecurity framework and do thorough testing before implementing into the production side. So once you are implemented that particular, gone through that particular use case, showcase it to the government regulated bodies. If they are also fine with that, then you move it to the production. This is the process currently this particular industry is following.
Thank you. That's a very good idea. And with this thread, I'm coming to Mohit. How do you safeguard? Because Sujoy is talking about more data generation. How do you safeguard the data? And if I ask you any strategy or any advices for national security data as well?
Thanks, Kapil. This is Mohit Kalra. So, regarding the Gen AI or regarding the artificial intelligence, so we have the tool in place. Now it is our responsibility to use it in a more productive way. It's basically use it where the customer data is not involved. Basically in the security operations center, in the threat modeling, or in the threat vectors, where we can use it and to reduce the manual efforts, but not to the data analytics part, where so there are separate tools available for the data analytics. So that kind of tools can be applied on the customer data, but not on not the AI or Gen AI on the customer data, because we never know. Still, we are not in a position where we can say that whatever we are asking through Gen AI or the Copilot or from the other AI tools, that the information is getting shared with the others or not. So it is our responsibility to share the minimum data with the AI tools and use it for our productive way, or where which can reduce our manual efforts. Only in these directions, to make it documents, presentation, and again, it's not that to make the information security policy for my company. So it will give you a vague security policy or a generic kind of thing. Again, you have to modify each and every line. So it is not about that. So you still have to apply your mindset and share only the required items with the AI tools. So same thing is like I'm talking about the customer data. So the citizen data or the our personal data, whenever you are asking something or whenever you are sharing something, make sure you are not sharing the data which you don't want to share, because you never know where your data will land up and without your knowledge. So that's the thing.
Thank you, Mohit. So Rajveer, I'm coming to you, wherein like AI solutions, so many solutions are there. So people are having a lot of confusion. So what do you advise, because India is also getting involved. So in that case, what is advice you want to give?
So good afternoon, everyone. And what I feel personally is AI is a great tool. It will impact everyone. We just have to vouch that it will impact positively and negatively, and how ready we are for that. So from that perspective, if I look after specific to security, AI will of course enhance a lot of stuff. So let's say threat detection, that's going to be one of the primary factors that AI can help. And it's not only a threat detection from endpoint or from network, it can go across. And it will surely help. Likewise, we were talking in the previous session as well about how the threat have evolved and how smarter the threat actors are. So they are also getting smarter, and we have to be ready. And AI gonna be helpful for us to identify the phishing that is happening, because it has turned so well that at times, being humans, even it is tough for us to identify it if you get 200 false emails. And AI can help us to find out the language, the context, and of course figure out better things for us. AI can help us from access governance perspective. AI can help us from user behavior perspective. And of course, behavior is not just for users, but a network behavior. And cumulatively, AI can help us to integrate all these different solutions to bring up a real-time decision-making authority. It can give us a real-time identification of vulnerabilities. So exploring AI in every sector or every division it's a good deal. It is just that we have to be AI ready. As far as the AI is getting enhanced and evolved every day, we have to be equally good to utilize that technology.
Excellent thought, excellent. I mean, readiness is one of the important things. Everybody have to discover first what actually he needs it. And very good advice. So coming to Puneet, to you, and very interesting thought, wherein so many things are evolving. Security is one of the pertaining question. So how you are looking this dynamics?
Yeah, so great question, Kapil. I think more and more data goes into the cloud, more and more data goes into everywhere, and previous panel discussion was also very intriguing and was concerned about data security, how do you secure things. Digital entities are there in the cloud, our data is in the cloud, PII data is in the cloud, how do we manage and secure them? I think that's where probably generative AI helps us streamline a lot of things. And what comes to my mind is, I think, three things that comes to me at this point of time is, one is generative AI can help us into managing our, streamlining our identity governance, how do we manage your digital identities in the clouds. And second is your compliance-related tasks, your day-to-day tasks. And third thing is also your access management. So I think these three things that I personally feel can help secure digital identities and data into the cloud. Now, of course, you need to have a set of governance principles, things to, regulate them and be under that gamut of things. But I think just one point which which is close to my heart is, make sure your fundamentals of security are in place, from as basic as your strong passwords, having secure access like SSL, or using multi-factor authentication. Generative AI can help do a lot of things, no doubt about it. But if your fundamental layer of security principles, MFA, SSL, at least basic strong passwords are not there, so I think you have a vulnerability somewhere down there. So make sure your fundamental layer of security is there. Then you move on to generative AI tools to further add value to your security principles. That's how I would think about it.
Very good. I mean, security and wherein you have access management and identification of the data is one of the very big challenge. And being an enterprise, everybody have to look for this kind of solution which can secure. And other side, threat actors is also getting powerful now these days. So they are also targeting on infrastructure with the kind of knowledge where and what patterns people are using it. With this thought coming to Anas, to you, and what specific next-gen AI technologies do you believe hold the most promise in enhancing national security?
Sure. Thanks, Kapil, for this very beautiful question, because we see AI all around these days. Okay, so every organization, every individual who is into the advancements of the technology is speaking about the artificial intelligence, etc. Now, what is more important is in terms of what role AI can play in the national security. Okay, so, and if we see overall, this is a VUCA world. Okay, and in the last decade, we have seen anything and everything happening. One country, from a geopolitics perspective, one country attacking the other country, there's a disruption which is there. The borders are not secure many a times. We have also seen the unleashing of the pandemic, which has caused huge damage. We are also seeing a lot of attacks, cyber attacks, etc., which are happening. So state is sponsored, state actors are there, hacktivists are there, hackers are there. So if we see the entire scenario which is being played out, we have geopolitics situation being played out, we have attacks happening from different motives, with different motives from different actors, etc. So the real question is how we can leverage this AI now in terms of enhancing the national security. And this is globally true for all the organizations, for all the nations, and particularly true for India as well. So in that context, if we talk about national security, what do we actually mean? So primarily there are four things. I mean, there could be other things also, but primarily four things are there which need to be protected. First, citizens of the country or the nation. Second, the economy of the nation. Third, the infrastructure which is there of the nation that has to be protected. Fourth are the institutions, etc. Like suppose democratic process, judicial system. So these institutions have to be protected. And there are n number of cases that we have seen, examples that we have seen recently, where all these things are getting attacked. Okay, so we have, from a citizen perspective, we have the wars, etc., which are being played out. I mean, nations are raging wars, and there are disruptions which are there. We are also seeing, I mean, from a citizen perspective, as I said, I mean, the pandemic situation that we saw. Then we are also seeing a lot of attacks which are happening. In fact, there was an article which was there, which said last year itself during Independence Day, India was, I mean, around 1,000 websites were being attacked for India. And even if you see the data from Government of India also, I mean, the leading departments, etc., or the ministries, there's a spike which happens during, say, suppose Independence Day or Republic Day, and most of these things are attributable to the nation's, I mean, the state actors or the hackers, hacktivists, which have ulterior motives. So these things have become all the more important in these days in terms of how to use AI in this world. So, I mean, obviously, I mean, there are multiple use cases which could be there, but if I see most promising areas where AI can be deployed by a nation, or maybe from an India perspective also, again, there are 3-4 areas which are there. So one is in terms of the surveillance, okay? Second is in terms of protecting against the cyber attacks, the advanced attacks which are happening. Third is usage of AI in the healthcare industry, in terms of predicting the outbreak of the pandemics, etc., how things are panning out from a health perspective. And last but not the least is AI, how AI can be used in terms of protecting the privacy of the citizens, as well as protecting against the manipulation which can happen for the audiences or the citizens at large. Excellent. I think these are the 4 key pointers. And if I just add to it, in fact, there are many leading nations who have taken steps in this regard. So they have started thinking about in terms of how AI can be used across these areas. So if I talk about US or China, I mean, the leading nations from a technology perspective. So they have started integrating the AI within their national security strategies, etc. So they have started using AI in doing more advanced, deep surveillances, etc. Both from an outside country perspective, within country perspective, inside and outside threats, whichever are there. So enhanced surveillance, etc. are being done. We are also seeing nations like Russia. Okay, so they are now using AI to develop advanced armaments, the arms, etc. So they are like, suppose Kalashnikov, which is the manufacturer of AK-47. So they have started using neural networks within their big guns, etc. that they are developing now.
Yeah, AI is everywhere.
AI is sort
everywhere.
of everywhere.
So I would come to you, Shruti, with this one of the thought. I was reading the global report, one of the global report, which says is 81% ransom has been paid because so many organizations got attacked and 81% organization paid the ransom. So my question to you is, what are the potential consequences of premature development of Gen AI in national security, and how can they be avoided? Because right now AI is the involved phase. And so how do you think so? I mean, is that the right approach? Government should go for it or not go for it? What's your thought on this?
Thank you, Kapil, for that question. See, we all are aware that with the advancements in the field of technology and telecommunication, today AI has become a part of our life. In fact, pandemic accelerated the adoption of AI for organizations, industry, as well as the government, because the consumer's behavior, in fact, changed. Now, according to a McKinsey report, in fact, globally, the adoption of AI technology is accelerated by 3 years. So when the companies were or the organizations were not even still yet prepared for it. Now, as far as the Asia Pacific region is concerned, it got accelerated by 4 years. Same is approximately this situation for India as well. Now, AI has still to, it's a very, I would say it's a very new technology, because we have not yet completely used it to the fullest. We still do not know what are the risks that can arise from AI completely. Now, 60% of the organizations, in fact, who are using AI technologies have also started adopting generative AI technologies as well. But only 21% of them, in fact, are actually have policies or have designed policies that can govern the use of even generative AI. Now, we all know that AI and generative AI have at their own advantages, but they also have a lot of risk. Now, whenever we are talking about risk, we have to identify risk from different sectors where we can use them. Now, for example, from the national security perspective, if I have to say, I'll give 2 examples. Now, a chat GPT or an LLM model requires massive amount of data to train itself. Now, when it is training, it also creates new data. It creates new text. It creates new videos. And this is basically can be used by the cyber threat vectors or criminals to create deepfakes, fake news. And the amount of deepfakes and fake news propaganda that happens during the elections, we all have seen. That can again have a massive impact on the national security as well to a certain extent. Now, the chatbots which are there, the kind of individual or a personal communication that people today have, the same chatbots can be manipulated by radical groups to mislead the citizens. So there are still multiple risks that can arise from the use of Gen AI as well as the AI technologies. So when we think having or implementing these technologies without governance or a responsible AI framework is really risky for a national security perspective. So if we want to implement AI or Gen AI for national security, for example, we have to identify which players will be using it. Either it's law enforcement officers will be going to use it. If law enforcement officers are using it, then we really need to have a framework so that, the biases that can arise from the outcome, that kind of warnings and results should be made them aware of. So a framework for AI, in fact, should be based on, based on ethics. It has to have risk management. Then, in fact, it should also focus on data protection and privacy. Because if we are using it for individual purposes, whether apart from, I would say, the government officials or even the industry or you and me, if we are using it, and by chance, when we are submitting a particular query to it, and that query includes some sensitive information of your organization, then you're putting your organization at risk. So data privacy and protection also needs to be a part of it. So it's very, very important to first identify the different stakeholders, different applications where we are going to use it, and accordingly we have to come a responsible AI framework. And also what happens is, what I have seen in security is we always talk about frameworks at different level. Like cloud security is one aspect. Then we talk about IoT security very differently. But with AI and generative AI, we have to think about security across different platforms. That is the need of the hour today, Kapil.
Sure. Thank you very much. I think people are echoing one thing is like AI is a need, and a lot of use cases Anas has shared, and you also echoing it. Indian government should also go for it, and where we were having doubts because it's evolving, and Puneet also mentioned about a lot of right management, if we have the right. So somewhere a lot of governance and controls are required. It's very good for everyone. So with this thought, I'm coming, Sujoy, to you is, wherein because we are developing a lot of security system, talking about adoption. So how we can give the right transparency to everyone? Transparency becomes another question, because everything you can't secure, hide, because it's tons of the data which is lying there publicly. So what is your idea?
Kapil, you have touched a very interesting topic. Data transparency in AI is a very, very important thing. That's why there are different words have been coined like responsible AI transparency, etc. Why? Because whenever you are taking the raw data and modeling into a model where you can get some proactive reports which can help you to improve your performance, efficiency, whatever you say. It's very important to know that particular process, how it is happening, how the output is coming. That transparency has to be there. That's why it is called responsible AI. Once you have that, then only people will trust that particular solution which you are implementing. It has to be ethical, unbiased, and accurate. So unless it is transparent, you cannot achieve these particular things, and it will be always there will be trust deficit where whatever you implement for the business output objective, it will not be achieved until you have the transparency of the solution. So in nutshell, transparency is a key thing which has to be there in any AI related solution.
So that's a very good idea, I mean, giving transparency, but I have an opposite thought process also, coming to Mohit, to you, because a lot of private sectors, they don't believe to give the transparency because they want to reframe, secure that data and all. So I'm straight away coming to you is looking at private and government sector, how they are giving the access, how they are basically developing the system which can secure more, and how you can basically help with the training data also, because whenever you develop a system, you have to give the training on that as well. Whether it is a defense system, satellite system, whatever system you are developing, you have to give the training also. So what is your view on that?
Thanks, Kapil. So, like I mentioned, share the data with the AI only which is required. And regarding the citizen data also, and I'll just take a step back and we'll try to relate with the environment which we are holding. So from last 5 years, for example, I was giving the security awareness trainings to my employees, but still whenever I was doing a simulation kind of thing, they were clicking on the link and getting into some kind of difficulties. But from last 6 months, what I have done, I run a campaign for the ransomware simulation. So whenever they click on the link, their system will get locked for the 1 minute, 10 minutes or half an hour as per I define basically, or as per I configure. So same thing, awareness is one thing, testing that is a different thing, and realizing the other person, that how much importance is related. So if your system is unavailable for half an hour or something, then only the end user will understand your concern or understand the concern of security. Similar thing, like the citizen data or what government can do actually in that regard. So they have the contact number of each and every person, because we all are voting, and last month when the polling was happening, I was getting calls and messages from different parties. Though I have not registered anywhere, but still I was getting a call from BJP, Congress, Aam Aadmi Party, and all the ways. So how? Because somewhere they are sharing the data, how they are taking the data from the election commission or from some other parties, from my, what you call, telephone bills or internet bills, or from the the electricity bill, that I don't know. But without my consent, actually they have all the data. So make use of the data, make the Gen I. So simulate the awareness workshops regarding to the ransomware simulation exercises. I'm not saying that 100% of the users. Even if you are doing the simulation for 5% of the cases, that click on this link and your phone will be locked for half an hour or 1 hour. Then ultimately the end user or the end citizen of of India will understand the level of security. I can see a lot of security campaigns being run by government nowadays, but
Right.
it will be to test the effectiveness. We should have the phishing attacks or simulation smishing attacks should be done on the phone numbers which is there available with the government.
I totally agree. Maturity has to be day by day improved,
Yes.
and awareness is key idea. So Rajveer, so Sujoy has one of the opinion, and Mohit has other opinion, maturity and all. And but my question straight away to you is because we are in a digital era. So how we are shaping up, looking at the Gen AI coming in the digital environment.
Thanks. Great question. So to start with, I believe, first of all, we have to identify the problem. We can only produce a solution when we have the right problem statement. The right problem statement with, bringing AI to everything is to deal with AI, positivity and negativity both. So let's say we all talked about data. So data versus AI and data privacy had been challenging. India had worked well to bring DPDP bill. We had been following GDPR, but we also need to understand that with AI coming in, it is a massive data that we are dealing every day, and it is growing unexpectedly. And we all have to think the best possible way. So first we need to understand as an enterprise or as an individual that what I'm doing to data, what is my expectation out of it, how we should hold it, where we should hold it, how to process that data, and so on and so forth. So, and accordingly we can implement solutions. Same goes with data breaches, same goes with, let's say, compliances. So we have been dealing with compliances. We know that it is growing, but it is not growing as fast as AI is. And AI and compliances has to be bringing up to a certain level, a platform where it can work together. So it is an individual responsibility along with the government and the enterprises in the market to work together to ensure a solution where we come up to a layer where we are confident enough to deal with the data breaches. Coming to access management system, we have to come with zero trust. That's one of a way of dealing with such kind of areas as well. So there are a number of things that we believe that can happen. We have been making that partial investments, but we have to think a prospect of not only to technology but to humans also.
Got it. Totally agree with you.
And I mean, human awareness is the most highest aspect to see that how do we deal with data, how do we deal with AI, how do we deal with security, privacy and everything. We might be investing so much on the technology, but we have to also invest on awareness.
Sure.
So that's where I think we have to upbring the entire society.
Correct. So friends, he's talking more about digital governance and the training, what both of you are echoing it. So Puneet, I'm coming to you. So wherein Rajveer talked about digital governance, and my next question is related to that is how do you collaborate? Because digital is a very, big word. So how do you collaborate? Because a lot of international standards are coming in and India also developing some standards. So what is your view on that?
Yeah, isn't it nice and confusing to have a lot of standards, right? We already had a lot of many, but we daily get more to more DPDP.
Everybody is talking the same, but in a different way.
Yeah, different ways. Yeah. So some say DPDP is a kind of a replica of GDPR and whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think let me take a step back. I think the first thing is you need to acknowledge first, and once you acknowledge, yes, you need to have a certain level of understanding and collaboration framework or regulation. I think half the battle is done. So you're 50% there already. Once you all agree to a collaborative framework, and I think you also mentioned ethics, and Shruti mentioned the word ethics in one of her, a few minutes back. So big word, ethics and AI, how do they go together, right? So we'll have to find a fine balance. But I think certain things come to my mind is, how collaborative framework can come once you have a, universally set of ethics aligned principles. It can help to, address some of the concerns like maybe transparency, your humans controlling AI or AI controlling humans back. It is what we fear in these days. There are a lot of movies coming in, that some days, humans will get controlled by AI machines or not. So once you have those collaborative, discussions, ethics principles defined in a way, maybe not legislations, at least the guiding principles. So then you know your boundary lines, and then you can work within them. So I think those concerns like transparency, humans, where do you draw the line with machines, should help in aligning those collaborative framework or regulations. And so I think in November 2021 or 2022 or December 2021, way back in around that time, UNESCO had come up with the rules or guidance of ethics-based artificial intelligence as way back as 2021. So I think that is where I think around 193 countries also aligned to that framework as a guiding principle. So maybe I think we need to set a guardrails and see how those collaboration frameworks should be an enabler. We should not see them as a blockers for us, and then work in those areas and the boundary lines to help us move further in the areas. That's how I see it. Yeah.
Excellent. So, Anis, coming to you, so people have talked about training, digital governance, and Puneet has given a very good piece of advice. So, my question is to you is, how do we utilize and protect critical infrastructure? Because lot of things are there. So, one of the point came up like, we have to discover before implementing it. Now I'm going one more step ahead. How do we utilize it? First we have to look at the infrastructure and then plan something, or do you have any views on that?
Yeah, no, sure. I think protecting critical infrastructure is very important for any nation. Even, as I was saying that if we have the state-sponsored attacks or any kind of attacks, one of the key areas which get targeted is the critical infrastructure. We have seen in the past, examples are there from globally, the US pipeline getting attacked. We see in Ukraine, power grid was attacked. We also see the Iran nuclear facility was being attacked. So we see a lot of attacks which start happening on the critical infrastructure. So for any nation, I think protecting the critical infrastructure from these cyber attacks become very, very important. And as you rightly mentioned, so identification is one piece. Then what beyond that? So I think if we simplify the entire thing, people talk about the AI in every area, but if we simplify the things, I think there are three key areas where we need to improve and incorporate AI in terms of how we can improvise or mature the cybersecurity. Detect, protect, and respond. I think these three things are very, very important, where AI can play a very significant role in terms of detection, how we can have AI-driven threat detection, etc., which can be there. From a protection perspective, we can have AI-driven systems in place which can actually identify the vulnerabilities before they are getting compromised. And we can also have the AI-driven automated responses. Many organizations have already started incorporating the AI and ML in their security solutions, etc. But there's a long way to go. These things can be further integrated, and we can have an absolute automated response wherever mundane tasks are there. Those can be automated, and we can have a well-coordinated automated response from an AI perspective.
Excellent. That's a need of our, because a lot of attacks vectors got developed, and the size also increased, and the frequency got increased. So you need a lot of prevention and detection prevention, and somebody talked about the 0 day also.
Absolutely.
So all those things are. So with this thought coming to you, Shruti, I want to talk more about the framework. Is there any framework which can help, or we are basically looking for the framework? And how the risk will mitigate? Because you are in an area where it's day-night your job is. So what will you advise us?
So Kapil, we already know that the like all the co-panelists have also mentioned that the other countries have also come up, with their own acts. Like the EU have just recently come up with an AI act, where it can basically analyze or it does a risk assessment of different AI solutions, whether it's high risk or it's medium risk or low risk. And certain solutions which are very extremely high risk solutions, those kind of models will be terminated if they are going to be a danger to their national security or their people. I think those frameworks by different countries are already there. What we need to do at India level is, India is also a member of Quad countries, we really need to voice our opinion there, go through these particular different frameworks and see what best needs to, suits to our culture and environment. Now, when we talk about the Indian perspective, AI solution evaluation, if we have to do, we have to give it like a socio-technical assessment. It's very important to see its impact, because we can analyze, we can identify the risk of an AI model, but we identify the risk of different systems from the cyber perspective. But what is important is to understand that it's we as humans are in fact the weakest link to insecurity. So we have to see how humans will react to any kind of a model or a solution before we even, implement that. That's the reason I said it's very important to have a socio-technical assessment of AI or a Gen AI model from the how humans are going to react to. For industry, I would say is you need to create a central repository or registry for Gen AI models, where different departments can, analyze the outcomes to make an informed decisions. Now, if for the government, if they're thinking of, going ahead, which the government is, in fact, using Gen AI solutions, it's very, very important to see which national security services are how they are going to use it and where they are going to implement Gen AI, because accordingly the risk assessment needs to be done. Now, Puneet mentioned, Puneet also highlighted about certain aspects where I just to support in continuation of what he said, I would say. Now, the election commission also needs to come up with different policies for the political parties on the use of generative AI during the elections. So like that way, different policies and risk frameworks needs to come into practice. That is what I would say.
Totally agree. And this time also in India, a lot of people, they have used AI for the election, and the result is in front of us. And in US also, they are using the deep AI for these things. And one of the points you were talking about earlier, the deep fake. So this year, US also having a defense available in case any deep fake video is circulating around. They developed a capability to track that and immediately eliminate it. So these two kind of tools are available there now these days. And one of the tools which I recently experienced also, Sentinel-1. Sentinel-1 is a deep fake recognizing tool, is number one, and very costly now these days, but it's but very popular in the US now these days. Okay, with this thought, like
Kapil, sorry to interrupt you there. I would just like to add what she also mentioned, and to your thought process was, in some time back, US had circulated a blueprint, not a legislative act, but a blueprint or a white paper on AI BOR. I just read some time back, Artificial Intelligence Bill of Rights. So it gives the power to the citizens to get two things. One, that they should be protected from unsafe AI models. That is one. And second, it also gives the right to inform them what the impact of that unsafe algorithm has done on their privacy levels.
Sure,
so
sure.
Just a thought there, sorry to interrupt you on that.
You are very right. This is very right information what you are sharing. India is also just launched a portal or similar way, where you can basically report you have been basically victimized because of the deep fake, and they will take action immediately. And you first what you can do is you can upload that video there, and it will tell you it's original or not, and accordingly the action will be taken immediately. With this thought, it's an endless topic, guys. We our time's up, so we will take a break here. I'll take a pause, and thank you very much Very good panel and sharing good information, very informative. Thank you. Thank you.